episode. Hello, peoples.
Wes, turn your gain down a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're like a little reverberary.
How's that?
You can go a little higher than that.
Was there a big difference?
Yeah.
Okay, how's that? Hello, hello.
That's better.
What episode are we on?
89? I thought. Hold on. Yep, 89.
So we got the beardless man out here. Who else is out there? Can't hear Wes now. Checka 1 2. Checka. Well, do some pre-show talking, I suppose. What do you guys up to?
Sean's almost here.
Yeah, we got an audience in the YouTube, so what do you guys want to talk about? That won't be podcast related. Who's gonna juggle right now?
I don't have anything to juggle, but I can juggle a little bit.
I played with my 3D scanners today, and I got better scans with my old camera than the new camera, so I'm thoroughly confused.
Me too. My week is all discombobulated because we had Monday felt like a Sunday, and the whole week has been off by one.
Oh, God. Oh.
It's got some old man syndrome and a half over there.
I was going for some of that
no
too.
idea. I got my shoulder messed up right now, my elbow messed up. My ankle decided to start locking up today. I don't know how I turned 80 so quickly, but I don't like it. Is it just me, or is Josh only broadcasting the corner of his face?
It's just you.
Yeah, my whole face is you. I like to represent the full brand.
Did you just durka?
Yeah.
Ah, durka.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's huge. That's what she said.
Oh.
What a
I think I should just put on all the deleted scenes from The Last Jedi and we can watch them.
I didn't see any of those. I wanted to watch the honest trailers for it too. I didn't get to watch that either yet.
Oh, it's perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's perfect. It covers both angles of complaints.
Is it Pacific Rim perfect?
I don't know. I've never seen any of those, so I can't tell you.
Oh, you've never seen you gotta watch the Pacific Rim one. It was the most perfect review I've ever
I've never
seen of
seen the
any
movie,
movie.
so I have to see the
Yeah, I've
movie
never
first.
seen the movie either.
You guys haven't seen Pacific Rim?
No, it looked really dumb.
I own it. It's never been opened. Does that hurt
I'm
it
sorry
even
to
worse?
crap on the movie that you really like, but it looked really stupid, so I didn't want to watch it.
It it
It's a popcorn flick.
that's yeah, exactly.
That's the point, right?
Yeah, that was the total point. Like you're never getting an Academy Award from those movies, but it was fun to watch.
So we got people in the audience. Let's see. I got somebody that says they're so tired now.
We got Seth and Beardless. And
Do they have a
yeah,
hair club for men equivalent for facial hair?
yeah, it's that spray can stuff. I can't imagine it'd be anything else. Be the same process, just lower.
Like this?
Bing, bing.
So yeah, we got a new addition to our. Well, I know that Mark knows that, but for our Airbnb, Josh,
Oh yeah, who's that?
Daniel from Switch and Lever. You know that channel? Daniel
I've heard that name.
Jensen, I think. Swedish feller.
Hmm.
He's in the group. Um,
Switch and Lever. Where have I heard that name before?
YouTube channel with 74,000 some odd subscribers.
Yep. Or maybe it's Switch and Lever. I don't know. Here. I've got like a miniaturized version of it. Let's watch one of his videos. Taking up Josh's head. So he does soldering. Here's his trailer. What else? CNC stuff. Coding. His most popular video is he made a marking knife. Simple marking knife. No wait, he made a knife from a handle of. He made a knife handle from cat hair.
Ew.
I remember that one.
Sort by most popular. He made a kalimba thumb piano. 1.4 million views. Nice. Cheap CNC mill. You made a wooden penny board? I don't know what that is.
It's a skateboard. A little stubby skateboard.
You made a can't twist clamp. He's got some cool projects. Making a custom coin. I did watch that one. That was like a 2-part CNC where he flipped it in like a little jig, which I want to try. Yeah, he's got a lot of good ones. Laser cutting, acid etching, brass plaques.
So all your beds are filled now?
All the beds are filled. It was Keith Decent was our 6th, and I said we can do a couch for Daniel, and then Keith dropped out today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he not coming anymore?
Mm-mm.
That sucks.
Yup. So for those of you in the chat, we're waiting on Sean to hop in. He was running late as well. I was running late because we were. Oh, is he on right now? I hear somebody.
I just sent him a.
Okay.
I sent him an invite.
I was playing Settlers of Catan.
Oh, boo!
with Samantha and Catherine for the first time.
Oh, okay.
So
Never
I
mind.
completely lost track of time, and Samantha was digging it, and Catherine ended up destroying us. So she obviously.
I'd never.
Say what?
Never played that.
I'm new to the game too. It's fun. It's got a really good feel to it.
I'll be setting in just a second, guys.
Okay. Makes you want to build a custom board. Which is a
Out of 3D prints.
3D print or CNC'd with laser. I could like making like a really nice one. Would be cool. I've seen 3D printed ones where they make like 3D modeled terrain tiles and stuff. Which that could be cool as well.
Or what you could do is get the topology maps of the moon and build the map out of that.
Someone asked why there are two of Josh. Well, it has to do with the way that Skype works and the way we have to do OBS. So I have to individually capture the feeds from Skype.
I don't see me moving at all.
I see you.
Or no, I mean like on the YouTube.
Really?
See Josh's same split face and my face
I don't know.
making the same face.
Wes is doctoring up that thing.
Yeah.
I think once all the dust clears, it'll be all right.
Yeah. I wish it was a better way to do it, but this is the only way that I know. I mean, I could have a separate scene for 3 people and 4 people. As soon as we drop one or gain one, I'd have to hit a button, which does sound easier actually than what I'm having to do right now.
Yeah.
Now we're doing a twofer today. We're doing
It depends how
a
tired
double
you guys
feature?
are. I know we're starting late.
Well, I'm in it to win it. I'm professional.
Let's do it.
I'm good. I can do it.
Up to you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna drop out for a second. The call recorder software has to update.
Okay.
All right.
That's quite an update.
That was fun.
Yep.
I think he just.
It will be the greatest update.
No louder than that.
Alrighty. See what happened to the video feed, you guys? You'll see it. There's a delay, but Sean just dropped out and it broke the OBS again.
Mm-hmm.
So when he comes back, it'll be fixed.
So in my subscription feed or my notifications on YouTube, not that I'm like pointing like, oh, this is not right, but like I don't know how to do it to make it right. But it says that like last week's episode title is on there when you get notified.
I think when I hit
Is there something
when I hit
I can
stream,
do?
it had the old one. I've updated it since then.
Mm-hmm.
That might be why.
Okay.
I forgot to do that before I hit stream.
That's the second person that said that you seem very quiet. So maybe before we actually start, we should do a sound check. Yeah.
Oh, Wes seems very well. Someone had me turn down my gain. So. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm way low. I can see that. I see it on the the feed there. Don't know why. I can. Hello.
Hello.
All right.
Hi.
All right, all set.
All right. I just turned my stuff up. Turn it up a little bit more. That might be too much. Blah 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 blah. That's quite a. I don't know why it did that. Chip to Build is here. Seth is here. Beardless Man is here.
Cool.
So, what if we do... Because normally... Well, okay. Half the time we have a topic in mind. Actually, probably less than that. 25% of the time we have a topic in mind. The other 75, we come up with it when we hit record, or just a few minutes before. Do we want to propose that our audience gives us a topic? And if it's something we already covered, then we can...
That's a good one.
Then we can
I
skip
like it.
it.
Because usually we spend about 30 minutes talking and trying to decide on a topic.
Or they can give us two topics, and we can do... Because tonight, I don't know if we're going to record the second one on YouTube or broadcast live as well, but we can. There's no reason not to, I guess. We didn't really announce we will, but I don't think it really matters. If people want to stay up later. Mark, we lost your video.
Yep.
His cough to come out.
Yeah.
Skype go. There we go. You got me back?
Indeed.
Yep.
We should do like a special after party episode where we're just completely uncensored.
Yeah.
You say your poo-poos and pee-pees?
Something like that.
Or we can get like a bunch of... Like a Q&A one, just like... For one of the episodes, just have... If they're short topics like the one that Donovan just posted, we could cover that and a handful of other little ones.
Beardless Man came up with an idea. What are your thoughts on... I'm assuming that's multiple themed projects?
Mm-hmm. I guess that maybe that... Oh, multiple themed.
Like a mashup?
Like a football bat?
I'll beat you in the head with a football bat.
Shit, Bill says, what's your dream project if you had no budget or time restraint? Is it about time we answered that question again? We did that one a long time ago.
I'm not sure if we had that additional condition, though, about no budget and time restraint. I know we had talked about dream projects. I don't remember if there were any restrictions on that.
Your trickle dreams?
My medicine's supposed to prevent that.
The only problem is that I don't think Wes usually likes to talk about his dream projects.
Yeah.
You keep them so close to your chest.
Not that I ever do any of my projects anyways, so what difference does it make? It takes me so long to get to them. Just sheer odds that someone's going to take it anyways. Because I just never...
I think I have a new dream project based on conversation with our last guest.
Building some shoes.
Are you build a Ghostbusters?
No. You have to go back and listen to the episode if you don't remember.
Oh, some Star Wars stuff? Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember now.
Yeah. If we do that as a topic, then I'll bring it up again. Otherwise, I'll hold off right now.
Well, I would say chip builds. Give us some constraints on your dream, like, because
it's like
we have a lot of
type
dreams.
Dream, and yeah.
I think there you go. Come up with three things. There's a logical, a functional, or something that you want, something functional, and then just bananas.
I actually came up with one on the way home.
Oh, Jay Grimmer, what's up, man? He's got a good question.
How about a 2 versus 2 team collaboration
That's-
between the
that's a
Making
cool
Geeks
idea.
guys?
Are we recording a podcast yet, or are we just doing this? Because that would make no sense. We would have to read off every one of them.
I haven't.
Well,
hit
I'm
record yet.
I'm recording anyways.
Okay.
So should we just go ahead and officially start? Do our intro?
Yeah, I won't. YouTube's recording for me, so I don't have to hit anything. So yeah.
So, do we want to come up with one of our topics? We want to ask them for some, or do we want to ask? Do we want to make these questions mini topics?
Like rapid fire topics.
I'm not sure if we've ever done anything mini, so any one of these could be
True
probably
that.
a full episode for us.
Fair.
I could trim some of the fat for the final if you guys want to, but
So,
just
So for a second episode tonight, it's supposed to be shorter, yeah? Theoretically.
yep,
In
Okay.
theory.
yes.
So whichever one of those might fit the second one better. I don't know. If it seems like it'll be shorter.
What about our list?
Hmm.
We got a list of shorter ones, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I have that list somewhere. At least I did. Oh crap.
Hi,
I'll
Oddish.
look for it later. All right. So I'll go and start the intro for our official episode. You guys all set?
Sure.
Was that a yes, Wes?
I suppose.
Okay. Hello, Internet, and hello to everybody there in the live chat. Welcome to episode 89 of the Making Geeks podcast. We're the podcast for makers, dads, and geeks. And today, we have all four of us together. Those are my co-hosts, Mr. Josh Price,
Hello.
Mr. Mark O'Keefe,
What's going on?
Mr. Wes Swain,
Hey, fellas.
and I'm Sean Jolliker. Hey guys, how you doing this week?
Doing good.
Not bad. Not
Busy.
Bad.
We
Busy
we must have been really busy this week because I don't think we talked much at all.
week. Yeah.
Nope.
Usually we chime in with something, but it's been almost like radio silence for the past 6-7 days.
It's true.
Lots of researching.
What are you researching?
Just the new 3D camera. I'm having curveballs thrown at me, and I don't understand why. And there's literally no information out there for 3D scanning with this camera. So,
Where'd you get it?
Intel, directly from Intel.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Isn't intelligence
Yeah.
stand for intelligence?
See that, and it's weird. Like you'd think you see so many of these companies, like a lot of the woodworking tool companies, like DeWalt, Makita, Milwaukee, and all these people. They have this like social media presence where for like a smaller maker, a smaller YouTube channel, you could reach out to them and you'll get a response back. Not Intel.
Call a lovely lady in India, and maybe she'll help you.
Have you tried turning it back on and off again? But yeah, it's definitely weird. But
I swear, in some of these situations, I think it seems like these companies are waiting for people to post information on their own that people could draw from instead of actually doing it all themselves now.
here you go, figure it out.
I mean, it's not a bad thing if you make a forum. You allow each other to either solve each other's problems. You're your own tech support.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just think they take it for granted now. They don't have to shoulder the burden anymore because we kind of do it on our own.
It's essentially self-checkout.
Mhm.
Yep.
I also wish that some companies would, like when you look at the software requirements to run things, they tell you, okay, you need this, and this. And I think in some cases that's the minimum requirements. I wish they would tell you, like, okay, if you want to run this thing at full bore, you're going to need this.
Sometimes they do. Depends on the item, I guess.
Yeah.
I've had little things this past week where it feels like companies are telling me to unplug it and plug it back in. It's been getting super frustrating. Yeah, one that resolved itself was Inventables actually with my X-Carve. I was getting a little irritated. So I got the X controller. When I went to go interview with Inventables, they gave me an X controller. It was super nice of them. They didn't have to, but they just sent me just a controller. So none of the other upgrade kit pieces. But when you go from the older version that doesn't come with the X controller, it has both of the Y motors. They slave to one terminal block, and then there's a wire that goes from that terminal block to the G shield. So you only have 3 wires, X, Y, and a Z that go into G shield. But the X controller is cool because it can power all of those motors independently. But the one Y motor does not have a long enough cable. So I wrote Zach, which is kind of weird because I wrote the president of the company for tech support. But he's the one that gave me the thing, and I'm like, yo, am I missing something, or is there something else that I need? You know, is there additional pieces to this upgrade kit that I don't have that I need to get? It's like, because I'm just going to be kind of wiring this thing on my own. And I was like, is there, you know, an additional thing that I need to have from Inventables, not just I can go get a rig it? And he was like, do you have the terminals? Like, yes. That doesn't solve the problem. And it just uses like single sentence, really, like, well, how about this thing? Yeah.
Ugh.
It's like, do you just want a new machine? I'm like, no, I don't want a new machine. Like,
They're coming out of our wazoos here. We'll give you one.
No, it wasn't that. It was
right.
From what I took was, are you just trying to get a new machine?
Ah.
I'm like, no, man, you gave me a thing. I want the thing to work, but the thing can't work the way that you have it. And it was like 5 or 6 emails, and I'm like, am I wrong here? I'm
describing
like, no,
this
damn it.
incorrectly? Yeah.
No, if I plugged in that short wire, it would drag the X controller every time the game's removed. I'm like, I'm not. And I took pictures of it. I'm like, after like the 5th email, I'm like, no, damn it. This is the problem. He's like, oh, yeah, you just got to get a longer wire. I had to do the same thing to mine.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, uh-huh.
Is this the same design flaw as put all these wires into this one terminal?
God. Yeah. The solved that problem. X-Roller works great. But again, I thought I was missing something. And I was just getting like, I was getting elementary answers to, you know, high school level question.
Is that what your Instagram pic was for? Was like when you had the wire being rolled up from the home center? Was that for that? Or is that something different?
Yeah, that was it. Oh. I was going to replace all of them, but I had an order to do. And then I broke a freaking belt. So I should have bought belts too.
That. Yeah.
Are you going to do that belt upgrade?
What?
There's apparently in the X-Carve owners group, there's a 9mm belt upgrade.
It's only 6mm belt. I didn't know they had. Why don't you have 9mm belt? You'd have to get different pulleys.
Yeah. It comes with new pulleys and a wider belt.
People tell me like, oh, you got to get a chain upgrade, or you
get
the
lead screw. Yeah.
Yeah, the lead. I've seen the lead screw. Holy crap!
Man, it works. It has worked for me great the way that it has been. I'm surprised it hasn't broken more than it already has.
It'd be funny if it came back and be like, have you happened to cut your X-Carve at some point? Is that the cause of your problem? You're that guy, right? Yeah.
Did you chop it up?
Yeah, did you?
I think I avoided the warranty.
Right.
No, but another one was like this T-shirt company that we're trying to get new T-shirts made, and no one would answer. I guess all my emails to them were going into a spam folder because I was attaching an image that they asked me to attach. And so, like, we didn't get your picture. Here's a proof. I'm like, that proof is stupid. Look at the picture. They're like, how about this proof? I'm like, that proof is stupid. Just look at the picture. And they're like, we didn't get any pictures. And then I send my picture, like, how about this wrong color? I'm like, I'm going to smack somebody through the internet. People don't just listen to what I'm just trying to tell people.
It's multiple variations of the Empire Records bit. Thank you for calling Empire Records open until midnight. Midnight. If anyone remembers that movie.
It's been so long.
Mm-hmm. Sean, how you been?
Good. Busy. Just my full-time job is It's been busy this week. It's a busy time of year. I don't think I've been home before 7 o'clock this week, including tonight because of different functions. Yeah, but it's that. Some other news this week regarding to some making stuff is I was contacted by another company for a possible sponsorship deal.
Nice.
I'm hoping this one follows through because I think it's interesting. It's from an art supply company, and hopefully
Michaels?
they don't drop. No, it's it's a company called Arteza, which I had not heard of before I got the email, but it looks like their products are halfway decent. So hopefully they won't drop the ball like the previous one did that contacted me and then never responded, even though they contacted me and I filled out what they wanted and never heard from them again. So
Nice.
at least I'm getting some sort of contact from somebody on some of this stuff, which I think is interesting. See what happens.
Do you think it's a spawn off of your recent art-centric posts versus your other stuff?
I would assume so, and I'm still...
That's cool.
Yeah, it's still weird for me to get attention for that because, yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time, and I'm only doing this to practice for what I'm going to officially be teaching next year. In fact, what's weird is I just got done writing a course description to teach 3D animation next year at my school site.
Sweet.
Using Maya.
Yes.
I didn't want to write it for anything else. I wanted it specifically for that, mainly because I know it.
Yeah.
Or I know it enough to be able to teach a lot of it. It'll be weird teaching that for a high school class, and under those conditions. And they're setting up an entire pathway for this now. So freshmen are going to take traditional animation. Sophomores are going to take what they're calling Animation 1, but it's basically with Toon Boom, so it's digital hand-drawn. And then junior year will be 3D animation. And then senior year will be using Unity for game design.
And you're heading up all that stuff, or what? Just part of it?
I'm going to be possibly doing 3 out of those 4 classes.
Traditional?
No, we have a teacher on campus
Sweet.
who has an actual background in it. In fact, he got hired by Film Roman to work on The Simpsons, but turned down the job because of ethical issues regarding it. But I have more experience on the digital side than he does, so I might be heading up everything else.
That's cool.
That is weird for me. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Good weird?
Yes, and also scary because I know all this stuff in theory, and I can do a certain percentage of it, but to actually teach it and make sure that your students have enough confidence in you and what you're doing, that's where I'm going to have to put in some extra work this summer. Yeah. How about you, Wes?
My week's been all out of whack. Let's see, my daughter is in year-round school, which I don't know what other areas of the country have this, but she doesn't have a traditional calendar year for her school. So imagine your summer vacation is broken up into 4 chunks and distributed throughout the year. That's kind of how her thing is. So she tracks out for spring break and then like a couple weeks after that. And so basically this week she hasn't had school, and we went to Great Wolf Lodge, which is for like an indoor water park sort of hotel thing. For those aren't familiar, for like kids. And that was outside of Charlotte. Went there on Sunday, stayed through Monday. So Monday felt like a Sunday all week. So like I feel like I've been off one every day. And then I think I got a little too... I wasn't really doing anything crazy. I was just kind of crawling around, playing with the kids in the water, like the wave pool and all that stuff. And my back ended up hurting pretty bad the next day, of all things. I don't usually have any sort of joint pain or back problems, but I was hobbling around like an old guy. Like for the next couple days, and now today I woke up and nothing hurt, which is nice. But I had to use one of those back roller things. I don't know if you ever used one of those.
Yep.
That thing is like magic. I've been.
Does that actually work?
It absolutely works. Yeah. Like Catherine's like,
Wow.
"Yeah, you need to use this." I'm like, "I don't need that. That's stupid. It's like yoga."
My wife uses it, and I used to make fun of her. I'm like, what are you doing with that foam thing?
Like it hurt all day, and I used it.
What is this?
It's like a foam roller. It's about circumference of maybe like a mailbox or something, maybe a little smaller, or cantaloupe and it's kind of like a big cylinder, and it's like soft, but it's somewhat rigid, and you kind of put it underneath the spot of your back that hurts, and you kind of do like a crab motion and roll on it. And I did that for like 10 seconds on the spot that hurt. So my back's kind of like arched over it while it's on the floor, right?
Right.
And I got up, and it was like it never hurt. Now I had to do that a couple of times throughout the day, but like whenever it like kind of felt like I was coming back again, I would just deal on the roller, and it was, or I kind of leaned back over the arm cushion of a couch because the roller was upstairs. I didn't want to hobble all the way upstairs because it hurt. So I kind of like did the same sort of thing, same motion on like the armrests of a couch and stuff, and it basically did the same thing, more or less. But it's pretty amazing. And then this week I've been kind of trying to rush to finish my entry for the Art of Geek challenge this month. Probably won't be able to complete it at this point, unfortunately, but it's for a robot theme build, and I've been 3D modeling the red lion from Voltron, and I want to 3D print it kind of like a deer mount, like on a wall, but like it's his head. And so I've got the thing pretty much done, but printing it is, if you model something from scratch and go to print it, something's bound to not work right. So I'm expecting it not to.
That model looked cool, by the way, too.
Oh,
that was like really cool.
I'm excited for it. Even if I don't hit the deadline, I still want to finish it and put some LED lights and like where his eyes glow yellow and different parts glow blue. Put some lights in it. It'll look pretty cool. And I even did the blaster inside of his mouth.
Yeah.
And I would love to have it articulated, so you like lower the jaw like when it's up on the wall and have like the light come on or some sort of interaction or something. But and Timothy C in the chat just says, "Are any of you into 3D printing?" Since we're talking about X-Carve, yeah, we're in it in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
So if you have a question,
Timothy, do I happen to know you? It might be somebody I know.
But beyond that, I was late jumping on here. We're supposed to start recording an hour ago. And I was playing Settlers of Catan with my 7-year-old daughter and my wife, who had never played it before. And I've only played it a handful of times. I'm kind of ashamed to admit it, but I never had the opportunity. And we got it a couple days ago. And yeah, Samantha's loving it, and Catherine destroyed us. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it if no one's checked it out before. But yeah.
I've played it a couple times, but it's the first time, like when someone introduced me to it, they were the person like, "Oh, well, we'll just play like an easy round," and then they just ran the board and just like, "I have longest road, I have this, I have this, and this, and this, and now I win."
You're like, "That sounds great."
I'm like,
I had fun.
"Well, okay." Butthole, like you made this game completely unappealing.
Catherine had the longest road, and then Samantha, she got enough things, and she started giggling over there. She's like, hee, like conspiring. She lays down like she got a card that let her put down like 2 roads for free, and she's like, "Ding ding, longest road, mommy, haha." She like goes and like snatches it from her. I was like, "That's awesome." 7-year-old snark is always good, but
So did it seem appropriate for a 7-year-old? Because I was wondering if it was a little bit too advanced for.
Absolutely, she got a hold of it. I mean, it's sort of it's got like some game concepts because there's like resource management and like earning resources and trading things in. But I would say we played a lot of Monopoly, which is like made her math skills, like quick math skills, skyrocket. So I recommend that for anybody that hasn't played Monopoly with their kid. But she got to like counting in tens and really spur of the moment quick math. I would definitely recommend it, but she loves it. We played maybe like 6 games in a row, which I ended up destroying for most of the time, but it was pretty even. We all won at least once, but I think I won like 3 or 4 times. Anyway, going back to the age, it's completely appropriate. There's no violence or anything like that as far as content wise, but complexity. If you can like match cards and trade cards in for another card. And there's just like kind of layout of how the pieces kind of flow in the board, but it's not too complex. It's pretty simple. After a couple rounds, you'd be able to do it.
Maybe the game for... Yeah, go Josh.
Oh, I'm sorry. We just got a good question in the chat. Which Chip Builds asked. He says, I know Wes is going to Bay Area Maker Faire. Are the rest of you?
Absolutely.
Is it time that we fully announce it?
Yeah, let's do it.
We
Well,
got a good email.
Well,
Yeah.
not that
Yeah.
one. No, not that.
Yes, we are all going.
We're all going to be
Yes,
there.
we're going. Yep.
There may be more stuff announced soon. We don't know. Don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
So cross your collective fingers.
But aside from the stuff that we're being kind of secretive about, we're really excited to go because this will be only the second time we've all been in the same place in person, meeting in IRL.
You know, it wasn't real to me until Wes made that group today, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's actually happening now.
Yeah, we got.
I got a little more excited for it.
Yep, we got an Airbnb for 6 of us, and it should be a lot of fun.
Oh, I got my plane tickets the other day.
Yeah.
And I heard somewhere, I don't remember, some dumb Facebook thing, that if you search for plane tickets through a private window, where it doesn't monitor your internet traffic,
Yep.
you get a substantial price difference. And it worked.
Did you
I saved like
compare?
$200 by doing that. Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yep.
So it doesn't know where you're ordering from?
I don't know.
Is that the deal? I don't know.
No idea.
Huh.
I
But
almost think it would work the other way around though.
I don't know how it works, but it did.
But it
Because I
worked.
looked the day before.
What was the price difference?
It was about $200.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
what did you spend total right now?
For Tiffany and I to fly from Nashville to San Francisco and back, it was $550.
Total?
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah. Where I looked the day
Cheaper than
before, for both of us, is going to be almost $800.
Yeah, mine was about for something. Hold on.
Yeah, so we got a
builds.
one-way.
I get to drive too. Sorry.
Yeah. So Donovan, you're not far off, but we don't want to jinx anything.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, for.
So you guys want to start getting into a topic here? We have those 2 solid questions that were asked.
We got a bunch of questions in there we can go over.
Well, I wrote a couple of them down. So the first one was about the Dream Project, and the second one was asked by Donovan of, are we brand loyal? Something we actually have not talked about at all.
That's true. We haven't.
No.
Let's start with that one since we haven't talked about that one at all. Because we have a lot of different areas, and I mean, besides woodworking stuff that a lot of our peers are into, like we have 3D printers and CNCs and all the different robots that we may be loyal to.
I'll go a step further on that one, though. Are there any brands that you are dead set against?
Ooh, absolutely.
Let's tackle both. Let's tackle both.
I like. Okay, so let's start with the easy ones. Let's start with in your wood shop. Start with traditional, like woodworking, making-ish type tools. So in my shop, the king of my shop is my table saw. So do you have brand loyalty to your table saw? Do you even like it? What brand is it? Do you care one way or
After
the other?
finding out my blade isn't square to the table, I hate my table saw now. I think it's the Home Depot brand. What is that? Ryobi or
Rigid?
the other blue one? But yeah, no, my table saw, no. I cannot wait till the day where I have some room for a decent table saw, but right now I just have the little, crappy plastic one, which scares the hell out of me every time I turn it on because you can hear the motor like revving up in phases. So I don't know if that's like, I got to record it one day because it is terrifying. I just have this horrible image in my head of the blade coming loose and shooting out at me.
Man, that's a good way to go.
You need to record yourself every time you use the table saw. So
For
that A,
insurance
we can
purposes.
see it, and 2, you can get some settlement money for that.
Yeah, right. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
sure
think
the
that's
insurance
actually
will
going to
appreciate
happen.
that.
It's just the noises it makes are
Famous.
horrifying.
I'm not
So
brand
Wes, what
loyal
about yours?
myself. I've got a Grizzly. I got it on Craigslist actually for $70. It's probably
Ooh.
super dangerous. There's no safety precautions on it. It looked like there was some sort of riving knife on it, but it broke off. So like, there's a part
Uh-oh.
that would, like, I guess that's what used to be there. There's a part where like some piece of metal inside broke off, and
X-carbon aluminum.
yeah. I've got a zero clearance insert that I made out of some wood. That's the only safety thing I have in the whole setup. It's like a cast iron one. I think it's from the mid '90s. It's pretty. I think it would have been nice, and it does the job. But for a table saw, it's what I could get cheap at the moment. So I don't really have any loyalty. If something else came along, I'd get it. It has a cast iron like a top, so that's pretty good, I guess. But the fence is kind of crappy. I have to make sure it's square to each side of the blade every time. I don't know if that's a normal thing. Yeah, like I move it and I'm like, look, there's like a little wiggle. I'm like, and you have to lock it down when it's wiggled to the left more than it's wiggled to the right, and then I check the front side of the blade and the back side of the blade. I'm like, okay, that's enough. And I don't know if you can upgrade them or whatever. I don't know enough about them to know if you can swap the fence out.
Yeah, I think you can get an aftermarket fence, just like
Yeah.
a fence by itself. A fence and rails, usually.
You can, but they are so expensive.
Yeah. I figure
They
after
are.
a $70 drop, I don't want to drop like, like four
Three-
times as much.
I think you'll
$330,
still be.
$400.
Yeah, you'll still be in the black with that decision though for
Okay.
that decent table saw.
It's good to know.
Can be right.
I'm not necessarily brand loyal. I am loyal to whatever I can afford. Although most of the tools I bought new, I have all bought from Lowe's. So I have a little bit of a weird loyalty there, and it's only because I used to be an assistant store manager for the store. So I have this weird kind of association with it, and it's usually like Porter cable that I'm buying. It's nothing more than that familiarity. I don't really like or dislike. They work. They were cheap. That's kind of all I care about at the moment for those. I have a Delta table saw that I also got from Lowe's that I really like. Once again, just because it's what I could afford. Cast iron top, and it's been pretty good so far. And when you start out with one of those death traps of a contractor saw, the ones that probably sell for like $70, and those things jump around.
Yeah, mine.
Just like that. Anything that has substantial weight to it and won't move, you start having a really good appreciation for.
Oh yeah.
So in my mind right now, it's perfect. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't compare at all to Josh G or Laguna, but it's working good for me right now. And at $600, I'm not complaining.
Well, I have that Laguna because I had the Porter cable contractor saw. It was a piece of garbage, and I didn't want to buy a Porter cable tool to begin with. And we can talk about that in a little while. But yeah, it was a hot piece of crap, and then it broke because all the rack and pinion inside's got like plastic gears. And I had enough from customer builds where I was able to. I had like a $1,500 budget, and SawStop was out of that budget range. Which at the time it was just that was the newest and coolest thing. And now, even though it does have awesome safety features, I'm not really the newest and coolest. I like to be a little underdog. And Laguna was just really subtle. It's got flat black. It looked cool. It had not the general motor where you turn it on and it doesn't scream angrily at you. It just like has a little hum. But it's nice and heavy. Yeah, I love it. I love that thing. But
I wanted to be brand loyal when I got the CNC machine, which is a hand-me-down from Luis Gonzalez. I wanted to be brand loyal to the X-Carve because it was the first time I ever used an X-Carve, and I just had nothing but problems with it. And it might not be a fair shake for the brand, but it put a bad taste in my mouth, and I gave it a lobotomy as soon as I could. I ripped out the Arduino and the G-Shield and put in like $100 standalone controller board. I haven't had a single problem that I had before. So, not that I wouldn't try one if another fell in my lap, but this one's I don't know. I'm kind of the underdog too. Now that I've found $100 controller that has the potential to upgrade to all the different features that the other one has. Like you can make your own box and have your own custom like start and stop and pause and all these different, features. I can like really customize it and kind of DIY that part of it, which a lot of people don't have the opportunity to. So I could make some cool, like a nuclear kind of launch sequence buttons, or have like the little red button that has the cover on it, you flip up to turn it on, anything crazy and neat that I could come up with. Some sort of retinal scan or something. Who knows? I mean, all that could possibly be implemented, whereas with X Controller, they've kind of done all that for you. So I like the tinkering aspect of what I got. So
See, for the X-Carve, I would like one feature. I want a home carving position and a rest position. Because every time it finishes carving, it sits right over top of the piece of wood, back to the home. I want to hit a rest position where it gets just the hell everything out of the way, so I can work on the piece of material or whatever, and then put a new piece on, hit the home position, and then it comes back to where I need it to be.
Is that using easel? Are you using easel for that?
Yeah, I'm using easel for that right now. I haven't moved into
Fusion or something.
Yeah. No, the GB, the
V-Carve?
G-code sender.
Oh, UGS.
V-Carve and UGS, yeah. I'm trying to get a handle on. You can
set that in some of them. I think UGS lets you set that position. I don't know if V-Carve or Aspire does. I know you can set the home really anywhere you want. I don't know if you can set the finish.
Yeah. Timothy C is asking, does X-Carve use standard G-code? Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
pretty
a lot
much
of
everything uses standard G-code at our level.
If it's for like
G-code is G-code is G-code. It just says move this many nuggets on the X, move this many. So it's super basic. If you use graph paper when you were in like the 12th grade and you had to make the little dots, if that graph paper went up in the air, you'd be using G-code. So G-code is nothing proprietary. Right. You're just telling a thing to move in three-dimensional
computer language. Yeah.
I know Simplify 3D for 3D printing, you can do like a post script that after it runs its print job, it'll like execute whatever commands you have in this field. And so you could manually say like you want it to do these things when it's done. I don't know if there's any equivalent to that in CNC software, but like you could say move left so many increments, or to get it out.
So actually, I mean, because if that's the case, you could probably go into the G-code itself and add in one final line to move back to that position you want.
Yeah.
You could probably even write time.
Yeah, and you could probably even write a script to automatically add that line to the end of any job.
Yeah.
It would be convenient. So I guess for CNCs, like I have my X-Carve that I bought, but now we have the gigantic CNC router parts machine that we have all the components to. And I mean, I had, like most people, I had the issues with easel and got super frustrated and went to a different CAD and CAM program. So there's no brand loyalty to Inventable software. So the hardware is just, it's a router with some motors. So now with the CNC router parts gigantic machine, it's a 5 foot by 5 foot machine, and we have to use something other than easel. So we'll be using Aspire, which is good because that's what I'm comfortable using. So it may erase any kind of loyalty altogether. It might just be kind of task specific. Like we might not need to fire up like the gigantic queen size bed of a CNC just to make a sign.
Why couldn't you use easel?
Why?
I think that the drivers are written for the X-Carve.
Because I know you can go into easel and say like your bed size is 2000 by 2000.
I don't think easel will post process to another machine besides easel. So you can use CAM software to post process into easel and use easel as a G-code sender, but I don't think that you can make a shape or make a whatever in easel and then send it out to another G-code sender. Like you couldn't use easel and then send easel information out to Universal G-code sender or to Chili Pepper. I don't think.
Yeah, I think
it would be it would be unnecessary. But yeah, so that may completely wipe don't think it's brand loyalty. I think it's just how many players there are in the field.
Functionality. What do you need?
Well, like accessibility. Like, I mean, most people when they buy those big purchases, that's the one they have. Have access to multiple, multi-$1,000 machines that can do something. You just can't have the one you have.
To be honest though, I would actually like to be brand loyal. I just can't afford to be brand loyal.
Yeah.
I would love to have my shop full of certain types of tools, certain brand names of tools. It may be a little bit excessive and not needed because my tools do just fine, but I simply can't afford it.
Well, who's your choice? Send it out there. Maybe you'll get lucky again.
Brand loyalty, I think, is a luxury for some of us. So, like, even for, I don't have a 3D printer, but I would love to pick up the Prusa. But my first 3D printer probably won't be that one because of cost. It'll probably be the monoprice that I'm looking at getting or writing a grant, hopefully through work, to be able to get one. The same thing with the CNC. I got lucky enough that I got one handed down to me. But I'm not sure if the X-Carve would have been my first choice. It might have, mainly because of familiarity. But, yeah, I mean, because brand loyalty is something that I can't afford at the moment.
What about in the entertainment space? Like either hardware or media? Like, is there a certain brand of TV or receiver or DVD
Laserdisc all the way.
Betamax?
Yeah.
I can tell you from experience, a TV's a TV at this point, unless you're dealing with 4K or like my TV is the I have a Samsung LED when the refresh rate was different, so I have the 240. So it kind of, the best way of describing it is you're looking out a window and seeing the movie happen. It's like that kind of smooth movement. But for the most part, TVs are TVs. It's
the bells and whistles are a little bit different. I'm actually brand loyal to Vizio as a TV.
Vizio's good.
I have a Vizio TV.
They're not crap TVs. They do the job. They're cheap. I would tell anyone on the planet to get a Vizio.
And that's basically why I'm brand loyal to them. I think they have a good price point. I like the product. I don't need a whole lot of bells and whistles. In fact, the TV that I have right now, I bought almost 9 years ago. It was the first LCD TV I ever had, and it's still going strong. I don't even have a desire to upgrade at this point, even though I could probably get my same TV for half the cost.
The other reason I like Vizio too is their interface is simple.
Yep.
You don't like I want to strangle the people who program Samsung TVs. You turn it on and it's this 5-minute presentation of how awesome the screen is. Dude, let me change a channel. God's sake, I don't have time for this.
Well, in your workshop, like Sean, you mentioned that you have porter cable tools. So is there a particular color palette that reigns supreme in most of your shops? Maybe intentionally or unintentionally? I thought about
looking at that and doing that for a couple different reasons. One, because I know that 3 out of the 4 of us make videos, so you're looking at a certain visual aesthetic, right? And certain channels have kind of adopted that as their look. And I thought about it, and I just don't care at the moment. I was going to paint my tools blue because nobody's capitalized on that color yet. It's either orange or Matthias Wandel green. Was it JBH is using black? Dresta uses white. I'm like, nobody uses blue. Maybe I'll use blue. I don't care. I just gave up on that for right now.
See, I have my Milwaukee. I upgraded. I was Hitachi for the longest time because that was like the first ones I could afford, and they worked really well. The drills failed on me a little bit, but in all honesty, everything's still working. And I did some research, and Milwaukee came up, and everyone said they were really good. So I bought one of their hammer drills and burned it out in one project. And I have the replacement motors, but I was like, do I want to keep going with them now? But, excuse me. I got to say, the Milwaukee cordless jigsaw is really nice. But the Hitachi sliding compound miter saw is the best tool I've ever bought. It is well over 10 years old at this point, and nothing is wrong with it. The laser still goes. Like I didn't change the blade on this thing for a good 8 years, and just because that was still my not knowing how dull they got after a while, and it's still just powered through stuff like a champ. So
Okay, so are there tools that you will purposely not buy?
Hercules.
What is that the
The
new?
new Harbor Freight line.
I looked at that saw.
Uh-huh.
That saw looks exactly like most of the other saws that in that same field.
Yeah.
I've never seen one in action, so I'm a little worried about putting a purchase out on those without knowing more about them.
Looking at their price point, I don't think they are any different than any other saw from any other store in that range.
Nope.
And when you
I agree.
look at a lot of the tools, you could actually tell which ones are almost just like palette swapped, or have like an extra overmolding to make it look a little bit different. I think the innards are actually almost identical on some of those. And I don't know how often you guys watch AVE, the engineer guy that does a lot of those teardowns. It looks like a lot of them are almost identical. So I don't think that line is bad. I just don't think they're doing anything different. And I don't think it's really a better value either.
I think that goes to most tool companies now.
Mm-hmm.
I took a strategic management class for my bachelor's degree, and then I got to do deep dive into Stanley and Black & Decker, Stanley Black & Decker when they merged.
Uh-huh.
And like the market share that new merged company has on the tool industry is bonkers. And how they purposely like categorize tools, where like these tools are for DIY or like weekenders. These tools are for the semi-professionals. These are professionals, and they've pigeonholed them on purpose. And that's where like Porter Cable used to be somewhat decent when they were part of Delta, and then their quality has just like gone downhill. And it's gone downhill because they've been put that way. They've been put in that you are going to be a weekender's tool, and you look like a new pair of Air Jordans. You look real flashy, but there's really not a lot of substance to it. And they're going to try the newest and coolest, kind of like Ryobi. Ryobi's the same thing, but they're not owned by Stanley Black & Decker. But since I was a kid, Black & Decker tools, like my dad would. You remember that part in Rain Man where it's like Kmart sucks, Ray? My dad was like, "Don't ever buy a Black & Decker tool." He's like, "Black & Decker tools are garbage." And so every once in a while, you get like a Christmas present with some new novel little thing, and it has like a Black & Decker, and I'm like, "This thing's a piece of crap," even though it might work.
Your grandma starts crying.
See, I grew up in a Craftsman household, where Sears Craftsman was considered like a quality tool because you could take it and return it if anything happened to it and get a new one.
Not anymore.
And then something happened. Was it in the mid 90s, late 90s, when they were kind of bought out by Chinese company, or they stopped being.
When
something
Kmart
happened
bought
with
Sears.
something different.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
that's what
Kmart and
happened.
Sears merged. That class was awesome. I got to crap on all kinds of companies. And Kmart was the next one that I got to do in that same class. Yeah, when Kmart bought Sears, they got rid of that lifetime guarantee, and they stopped making tools in the States, and they shipped them overseas. And so now Stanley Black & Decker bought out Craftsman, was the latest acquisition that they had. So there's like no hope of Craftsman becoming like that American, nostalgic. My grandfather's grandfather had these tools. Like that's gone. Now it's just like tractors and stuff. Now you're going to be attracted to color schemes. If my kids are going to see yellow tools in my shop just because I happen to have yellow tools, and then they're going to associate that color with dad's tools.
Yeah, I don't really have any sort of brand loyalty as far as shop hardware like that. I have more experience in like computer building era or like arena. So my brand loyalty is stronger for brands that I use to build my own computers. That's the only way I could relate to this conversation. I used to be Seagate hard drive, like strong, because they would have like 5-year warranties, like minimum. And then at some point they bought Maxtor, which I completely hated. like with every bone in my body. And then I think their quality took a huge nosedive, personally, and I had more failures with Seagate, so I ended up going Western Digital, and it's probably equal at this point. But as far as motherboard, Asus is the only thing I've ever bought. I've never really had any problems with any Asus boards. Let's see, EVGA for graphics cards. They have lifetime warranties. There's like a smattering of different brands for computer stuff, but those are the ones I always try to stick with. Laptops, I'll never buy a Compaq or HP or really anything of those. Dell, I don't care for those.
I used to love IBM ThinkPads.
Yeah.
Those used to be decent.
And I'm AMD all the way. Someone asked in the chat, AMD or Intel. Just because they are cheaper, but I like the underdog quality that Josh mentioned as well. So.
Did you see AMD's new chip, the Ryzen's?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want the Ryzen 7 so bad. That thing's a beast.
I wonder if their marketing department ever considered the fact that that name sounds so close to Ryzen.
Okay, what about... I don't think it's any secret, but who's a Mac and who is an Android or a PC user? And are you that diehard about it? I think, Wes, everything about you screams that you hate Mac.
I don't hate them. I just never personally owned one and would throw it in the garbage if someone gave it to me.
Yeah, it's nice. A mild disdain.
It's Fisher-Price computer, my first computer. That's the way I think about it.
I have to use an iPhone for work.
Shots fired.
And I despise it because iPhone is not made for, larger hands. I prefer Android because I can do more with it. But I'm not going to crap on someone who uses Apple. It's just that's really not my preference. I don't like anything about Apple at all, really, except for the fact that they do make good machines and they basically pour their laptops, so that's cool. But I like Windows. Like, I like
the tinkering.
Yeah, I like the ability to tinker, to go in and potentially destroy everything that I have. I get nervous. I forget what I had to do, but they're like, "Oh, just go into the registry, change this, and this," and I was like, "Oh God, here we go." But yeah, I like the ability to tinker. I don't like it locked down. Like, my biggest peeve in trends recently is the non-removable battery. Like, those things go away. Stop doing that. They stop working.
I'm system ambiguous. I have to use both back and forth concurrently, so I don't really have... I wish I could take the Windows platform and their custom ability and put it in a Mac case.
Hackintosh.
Yeah, I have a Hackintosh, although I've never really used it.
I've seen one of them. It destroyed.
No, I know, but I like the physical construction of Apple's products.
Yes.
I don't necessarily always like their ecosphere for everything. But I'll say that even though I like the ability to tinker, I don't have time to do it anymore. So
yeah, I can understand.
So just being able to use my MacBook and not really worry too much about everything else is kind of nice. I think I focus more on work. Anytime on my PC, I always end up gaming or messing with something, which is not really productive enough for me right now.
I'm a converted Mac user. I had PCs as far back as I knew. That's all you knew, because I was never around Macs, and the Macs at the time when I was growing up in my computer world were all like bright purple and super stupid looking.
The early mid-90s.
Yeah, and I went to college, and one of our physics labs, like, everything was on a Mac. I'm like, this thing is so stupid. Everything is backwards. I'm like, what are these yellow, red, and green light things is on the wrong side, and none of the buttons work? And I was just militant against it. And even it, like, they had this thing. They're like, you could go to the Mac lab, or you can use real computers over here. So people were making fun of them. So it was always this smugness against Macs. And I was in the market for a new laptop. I think my wife and I, when Windows Vista was coming out,
Yeah.
I was like, this operating system sucks bad. Like, it was always updating. It was like, oh, do you want to open this? Are you sure? It could be a security threat. And I'm like, get out of my way. And that computer was hindering progress all the time. And you could use Windows on any number of machines. And so the machine could be crap, but Windows was going to get the brunt of that because I felt like Windows was not working properly. And then when Mac started getting super popular and super sleek and pretty looking, and the iPhones were coming out and everything was being really minimalistic, I noticed all the machines were trying to copy that. And I was getting irritating that none of my Windows stuff was working properly. Everybody was trying to imitate the stuff that Mac was already doing. And we were in the market for the new computer, and some friends of ours have one. And they're like, you have to check this out. They're like, it's expensive. They're like, but I have bought this one computer. It doesn't get viruses. It doesn't get in my way. And I was like, all right. So I bought one, and it was awesome. And it was a little learning curve. And I was still, like, had that chip on my shoulder from being a convert. But when you do it, like, I don't know, it was nice. And then we got iPhones, and we got an Apple TV. And some of the stuff, yeah, like the functionality and the user interface on some stuff kind of drags. Like the Apple TV is kind of boring looking. But I don't know, everything talks to each other. Like, it's not a house divided.
That I do like.
Like, I can open up one thing and it's the same on my work computer as it is on my phone, as it is on the house computer, and like, it's all just, everybody's happy together. And I had to get a Windows computer to run a CNC, to run a Spire. And it was right when Windows 10 was coming out, and I hated it. I hated everything about it. It was such a pain. Like, it didn't have, again, like the crappy computer, the machine I had, like, affected my mood when I had to deal with the Windows thing. Like, it didn't have a Wi-Fi card. It didn't have Bluetooth adapter, so I had to get little dongles to plug into it. I'm like, my Mac can do all of this, like, immediately. And it goes, and it just, boom, it just works. I don't have to go in like, do you want to set up a Wi-Fi network? Do you want to do with this? Do you want to do with this? Just, nope. It just does it. And then I can get on with my day. So, hey, Bobby Duke is here. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Whoa.
Seth said he bought a Zune. I'm sorry. That needs to be noted.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually liked the Zune.
I only knew one other person that had a Zune. The user interface on the Zune was way better than it was on
Star-Lord
my iPod.
uses one? Come on.
Yeah,
Towards the end of the Zune life cycle, they did this weird graphic update to it, and it actually was an improvement on the interface. And I think in a lot of ways it was kind of like ahead of its time, which everybody else adapted later on. Just the device itself was really clunky, almost like a brick, but yeah, it worked.
They can be ahead of their time. Microsoft is quite often ahead of its time. I mean, they tried doing tablets back a long time ago. Time ago, like the screens that could flip around and all that, and they never caught on. And now look at, they're back full circle, and they just got steamrolled because they were too early with the idea.
Someone asked us about, like, new personal assistant type things: Alexa, Google Home, Siri, and then Cortana. Yeah, okay.
It's all crap. I don't trust any of it. I don't like it.
We have
Don't
an
trust
Alexa.
it. Is it the man listening in on you?
That's right.
We have an Alexa, just because that's what we happen to get first. But I would like to switch over to Google because I have Android devices and Google Play. I have a subscription to that already, so I'd like to integrate all that into one thing. And we have, like, the Amazon Music service for Alexa, but there seems to be some sort of limitation where I don't completely understand that ecosystem, because we subscribe a couple dollars a month so you can listen to anything on Alexa. But then if Catherine's logged in on her phone using her Amazon account, she can't listen to all songs. I don't know if there's a discrepancy, or we don't have a high enough tier, or if there's a separate
you have
one
a high
for
enough
what.
tier.
That's kind of irritating. So, I don't know.
Yeah, we have just, when we stepped out of the RV, just now gotten to the Internet of Things. So it's a massive flood in our house. So we got the Echo. And then yesterday I bought 2 dots. So we've got them all scattered throughout the house so we can use them like an intercom. Well, as an Amazon Prime member, you get Prime Music, which doesn't have the full library. You can just get some good stuff.
Right.
So you can get full Amazon Unlimited music for a certain amount a month, or you can just get Echo Unlimited, where it just works on your Echo. And we found out the other day while I was at Bob's, I was listening to music, and Tiff wrote me a message. She was like, "Are you listening to music on Amazon? Because it won't let us play at the same time." So I don't know. I may be in that same thing where it's just you're not tiered appropriately.
Right.
But I did think that was kind of irritating. But that's one thing I hate about Apple stuff is iTunes Music or iTunes, whatever, their subscription thing, it sucks. iTunes Music has always sucked. Like their subscription service or whatever. And since they've changed one of the iOS, it's like I super dislike listening to music on my phone through their app. Ugh.
Well, we're about an hour in. I don't know if you want to wrap up this episode before we try to jump into our next one.
I think so.
If you guys are up for it.
Yeah.
I have one more question. I'm sorry. One more question that's dear to people's heart. Is do you have brand loyalty for vehicles?
Oh.
No.
Honda so far.
I can't afford to be brand loyal to vehicles.
We had 2 Civics, and I got an Element, and we have a Pilot. They haven't messed up yet.
Not, but the last 3 new vehicles that I've either leased or bought have been Hondas. So just a little bit of consistency. I don't know if that's really loyalty, but you like the CRV, and that's kind of what I've been sticking with.
We have one of those. I don't hate it.
I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee, but I have the last year that it was decent, and then it went to crap after that.
It got kind of weird, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. I have an 04, and Chrysler has went out of business many times, and they've been bought out, and so the quality of their vehicles has went down, and so I have loyalty to mine, not to any other newer versions. I know that's usually vehicles are deep-seated in some people's minds.
I do have a chip on my shoulder because they discontinued the Element. But beyond that, if it dies, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably have to hunt Craigslist for a 2011. That was the last one they made. I would like to never change my car model if I can help it.
I would like to be loyal to Tesla.
Ooh.
Sponsorship, call us.
Yes. They need to make a minivan and break the world.
Let's get an affiliate link for Tesla.
Yeah.
You get $5 off the price of your Tesla.
That's right.
All right. Well, we'd love to hear from all of you. We appreciate you guys hanging out on the chat with us. But if you have additional questions you'd like to pose or suggest for the show, just go ahead and go to our website, makinggeeks.com, right there on the contact page, and you could list them right there. And on the homepage of the site, you can see all of our, actually not just see it, but listen to all of our past episodes, as well as take a look at our impressive list of guests that we've had on the show, and listen right there on the homepage of makinggeeks.com.
And you can find us across every single social media platform. You can find us on Instagram at Making Geeks Podcast, and Twitter and Facebook at Making Geeks.
I would like to thank our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/makinggeeks who keep this sinking ship, floating ship afloat. I don't know. I think it's doing pretty good.
We should not be a sinking ship.
I don't think we're sinking.
I don't think so. They help patch up the ship and keep it afloat. And we appreciate all their help. They definitely don't have to do it, but we acknowledge their support and thank them for it, especially our top patron, Mr. Seth Williams. Thanks, buddy, for your help. If it wasn't for Patreon, we wouldn't be able to go to Maker Faire.
Seth would have more money every month.
That's true as well. So if your kid goes hungry, you cannot blame us. Or maybe you can, I don't know. But thanks for helping us out. And if you'd like to contribute and help us with future endeavors, go to patreon.com/makinggeeks.
And you can find us all individually all over the internet at Asylum Designs, Geek Builders, Geek Smithing, and the PI Workshop. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening in, and we'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with us in the live chat. And we all hope you have a fantastic week.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
And episode 2.
All right, so I'm going to stop streaming just so we can have a start of another episode. So you guys stick around in the chat or watch out for the next stream notification so we can have a separate video file for that. We're going to record our second episode. It's a 2 for tonight. You guys are lucked out. So
I want to start off with Mr. Seth's unboxing.
There you go. Stick around, guys.